Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another episode of Tomb Raider. So, last episode we climbed to the top of a tower, we called out for a distress plane, a magical Japanese voice in the sky said no one leaves, that we couldn't even hear the voice, or at least I couldn't hear it. I saw it in the subtitles. Uh, it shot the plane down, and now the pilot has crashed and we're trying to go save him. And for some strange reason, this guy here, who's supposed to be our friend, told us to leave him and sacrifice him, which makes little sense. Alright. Convenient place for a bird. I shot him, but he fell down. So, before we go anywhere, we got the new rope thing. So we want to find this here and tie it there so we have a way back up. Probably could have just jumped.
This hut looks clear. We ain't gonna find anyone up here. You're probably right, but we got orders.
I want stealth kills.
I'm gonna head down and join the others at the plane. You keep checking these ruins. Yeah, I'll get right on it. Waste of fucking time.
So they're sliding over there too. Is this guy gonna come in here? No, he's not. Good. Darn it. Knocked his body over. So this guy's just gonna... $25, 10 for the kill, another 25 for the stealth kill. Definitely something. Here's his body, good. Get more scrap. Take a moment to look at some artifacts.
A kind of mortar and pestle, probably used for preparing medicinal herbs.
Mortar and pestle. There's something hidden in it. Let's see. What are we trying to see?
There are small bone fragments in the mortar well. Hopefully animal bones.
Actually, that's a pretty cool design for a mortar and pestle. Usually, the ones I've seen are not in any way look like that. So here's a whole shotgun section that we're not ready for. So we know we're gonna come back to this area. Let's continue with the stealth kills as best we can. Over here is something. Like a torch. Lit right there. Maybe that'll be a challenge later. We'll try and light torches. We can light these. Illumination.
Roth?
I'm here, Reyes. What's your situation?
We followed a group of men to some kind of city. This place is insane, Roth. What the hell are they doing here?
I don't know, and I don't think I want to know. Any sign of Sam or Whitman?
Nothing yet. Are you with Lara?
Yes. We'll be heading down the mountain soon to meet up with you.
Okay. We'll try to get in a bit closer. Keep this channel open.
So last episode, it seemed like they were indicating to me that the guy over there had met up with the other group. Maybe I misunderstood the conversation and there was just 3 people in 3 different locations talking on the radio. I will say my bad but I will put it on them that they've made the situation confusing. I'll admit I was possibly confused. If they're willing to admit they made the situation confusing. And games in general need to dumb everything down and make it so anyone of the age that you're selling this game to, so this is a mature game and I am old enough to be playing mature games, at least physically and chronologically. Some may say not mentally, but so I can light these. That didn't progress the illumination challenge though. But yeah, games need to make things super easy to understand. You never know. You probably want to translate your game to other languages too. And if you can't make it super to understand, easy to be understood by your native language, what hope do you have for another? Yeah, I don't think I can get up here. Gee, I almost fell. Hey, look what I found. I think falling was the right move. Another tomb. Tomb number 2, I think that was actually in this game originally. Tomb number 3 with the DLC. And we come to another section. And climb up. I hope this is a different tomb. It should be. We're not in the same place, are we? That would be silly. If we just come full circle, but we may have. We may be back where we were. Let's see. We'll see quickly. And so that torch just turned itself off. So we can just hold this, light this, go through here, and this is the Tomb of the Unworthy. We have gone completely full circle. Interesting. So she no longer lights her torches by the lanterns. Map update. See reward locations. So they're saying there's a reward somewhere right here. I don't think so. So, rather interestingly, we are back to where we were. Behind us is a reward. Back this direction looks like a document. Question is, will we be able to reach those locations? this area, we must need to visit it, I guess, a third time, because we've gone full circle. So, what you can do here is pull this and try to, I suppose, light it maybe. There we go. And then get it to swing over to that cache. So pull this out. Pull it this way. It burns that. Pretty good trick. You get a new bow part. 2 bow parts have been unlocked. Was that specifically there, or was it more a situation of after a certain point you would just unlock these things? I think we come back at a certain point in nighttime, so it makes sense to light these. Just make the game easier to see. I need to kind of head that direction, but up there. Now I can't hit this with the rope. It's not too far away, so I can't hit this to make that. They figured out the trick. Where are we specifically actually supposed to be going? That way. So instead of goofing off anymore, let's just.
There's the signal.
It's really unrealistic, but I'm not gonna really complain about it. An arrow would not get so stuck and be so sturdy that you could climb a rope from it.
Come on, we gotta get back. Shut up and let me finish. All right, let's go. I need help!
So that one just got me a 10 kill. Darn. Another section that I don't think I could really do anything with. And you see the rings there, so it would totally make sense if she tied the rope around the ring or just around the post itself, that it would be sturdy enough. And if you shot the arrow over these gates, which you see these gates in Japan all the time. As far as I know, I think they stop demons. Just traditionally that was the thought, that demons couldn't walk through the gates. That they had been blessed or something. Secret tomb nearby. At least we get to do one tomb. And it was a little interesting that the tombs are right next to each other, so close to each other. Rifle parts. I have this overwhelming urge to remind people that, speaking of the gates that are supposedly supposed to stop demons, remember, demons aren't real in the real world. It's a thing that goes unsaid probably a little too often. But if you are hearing or seeing demons, you need to see a psychologist as soon as possible. Oh, this is an interesting tomb. I remember this one. It's very heavily going to use the wind and the physics. The Hall of Ascension, and depending on whether you were playing this on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3 or the PC with a lower graphics card, some of these flags and things were just not in the game. They started doing this stuff where they would put in physics, it's called PhysX, and if you just turned off physics, it's not like you'd get an uglier version of the flags. The flags just wouldn't be there. And it doesn't really matter that much because it was never anything super important to the game, because you couldn't put anything important using that technology. But it is a strange thing to do. When you're selling somebody a game, they should be able to see all of the game. Now it's up to their equipment whether it looks good or bad, and you do your best to tell the minimum standards and make your game run smoothly at the minimum standards. But you don't go stripping things out. So now we have the recurve bow, modified weapon, makeshift longbow to recurve bow. Recurve bow complete. Well, so interesting that immediately we had both the parts and could do it. They should have told us about the recurve bow and made it a goal. Makeshift key ring release triggers further increases the firing rate. Do I really need the increased firing rate? And now we have one of the rifle things upgraded. And so since the gun has been completely upgraded right now, and it says 60%, we know we're going to get an upgraded gun. Longer magazine, or what else? It's interesting here that it's showing you, guess a higher firing rate on the bow is probably a good upgrade to do. Because if we are going to ever use the bow, it probably is going to need a faster firing rate. Again. So I mean, this is cool. This is the kind of stuff that should have been in the whole game. And yet,
This was once part of Yamatai.
it just seems like they didn't have enough RAM or something. Maybe in the sequel of the game, they will, in Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is going to come out pretty soon, they will be able to fix this engine enough so that it will be able to have larger areas and bigger puzzles. So here we can see we've got wind blowing everywhere, and that makes a problem when we rise this, because we want to jump up there. Golden horse, just out of nowhere, golden horse. Of all the repetitive and silly things in this game, it's just a golden horse here. So we've got to close these vents, and then we've got to run over here. Darn it. I, at that point, need to jump up there. So, of course, you have to really know what you're doing here. This took me quite a while when I first did this. It is kind of puzzling as to what the game is really telling you it wants you to do. You have one chance at this, and even now that I know what I'm going to do,
The time is just right.
yeah. I think I have a little bit too much time on this, so we'll wait a little bit.
You need to time this just right.
There we go. So wait for that first sound. Rotting, possibly fire damaged wood. Jump over. And jump over. And that's it.
Beautiful. Was this part of a larger complex of ruins?
You know what would be really appreciated? And I think they did this in previous Tomb Raider games. Is after we did a puzzle like this, you see a hallway like this, and something jumps out and attacks you. But no, I mean, nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna just raid the tomb. They need to adjust this, the whole gasp, particularly with the subtitles. It seems silly. A handgun part was found. GPS cache found. So now we have a whole list of GPS caches that we could run around and try and find. And it'd probably be a decent thought to do that, because I like the concept of being overpowered. You don't ever take any fall damage. And that's pretty much it. You would think the wind would even break that, would break the bridge after we've accomplished everything there. And it doesn't. Alright. So now the question will be, what are our options? Orienting, maybe. Find hidden rewards in the environment. We don't know what that means directly. Everything here is written very vaguely. Like, we'll get extra rewards, we'll find hidden rewards, we'll... what does that really mean? It probably means I'll get more XP, but I don't know. I could go with Heavy Lifter for that. Or... no, I think the one that says rewards is always the right way. So we're going to take orienting. Collectibles will be visible on the map and glow through walls while survival instincts are active. Nice. So that's going to make it incredibly easier to find the collectibles throughout this region. And this is the first, like, main region. See a little bit of blue there as the rocks don't quite meet. So you're seeing the skybox behind it. I don't know why they call it a skybox. It should be called a sky dome. Even in its earliest stages, I doubt anybody actually put a giant cube around the planet, around the play area. Could be called a sky sphere or sky hemisphere. Maybe to be more accurate, but why a box? Even in Minecraft, it's not a box. And Minecraft is all about cubes. Alright, two choices here. Well, I guess I only have one choice. I could go that way. Two. It's a little weird that you only get to keep one. And there's some trinket somewhere, but where? And we're still trying to get to the pilot. I've forgotten all about the pilot. And you don't use any arrows for this, because that would be unacceptable. And you can't say shoot this and tie it to that, which makes little sense. And you can't shoot that and tie it to that. So no GPS cache, I believe, right? Somewhere around here. Even if there isn't a GPS cache, there's probably salvage and other things that just aren't marked on the map. And see those eggs? Yeah, that's a quest too. Let's see if I can make this. Nope.
It is time for me to leave this accursed island. I have seen enough of Yamatai. I cannot explain the power the Sun Queen wields, but it is not of this earthly plane. As I suspected, she knew my intent the moment I set foot on this island. She has manipulated me, toyed with me to see what information I would seek. But she always knew. If I am allowed to leave this place alive, I must warn my lord, warn him that we should avoid Yamatai at all costs. If we wish access to her seas, we should pay any tribute she requires, but we should never cross the Sun Queen. To do so would lead to our ruin. Of the other things I have seen, those dark horrors, I can never speak of again.
Ooh, what are the dark horrors? So, we basically just transversed a small section of this area, and that was the entire episode. We did a tomb, and we transversed a small area, and that's all we did. Let's see. Jump down here, and I think we can pick up these eggs, can we not? Yep. Egg poacher. Just have to hit X. 1 of 5 eggs stolen. New challenge updated. So we got a couple of challenges, 2 for this area. And that's really where we're gonna leave this episode.
I have to get over there.
She has to get over there, and she will in the next episode. Because that's it for this one. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment if you want to, and watch every second of my videos. All that helps out. If you want to support me, you can click on my name, Rydo. On the right will be a blue button that says support this channel. And if you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media site, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.